I had taken the job because I needed the money and because, honestly, I needed to get away from people. After my divorce, cities felt too loud, too crowded with reminders. So when the Wildlife Survey Company offered me a 3-week winter assignment in northern Montana, I accepted without thinking twice. My routine there was simple and almost comforting. I woke up before sunrise, logged temperature readings, checked trail cameras, and spent the evenings writing reports by lantern light. The cabin they gave me was old but sturdy, the kind of place built by someone who expected to be forgotten. Thick wooden walls, a stone fireplace, and just enough supplies to last if the roads closed. Every night I cooked the same meals, listened to the radio weather updates, and went to bed early. The isolation felt clean, honest. Nothing followed you out there except your own thoughts, and even those seemed quieter under all that snow. By the 5th day, the storm rolled in harder than expected. Winds howled nonstop, burying the road completely. The satellite phone still worked, but the signal cut in and out, forcing calls to end abruptly. I told myself it was normal. Winter in this part of the country didn't care about plans. Still, the cold felt heavier that night, pressing against the cabin like weight. I checked every latch before sleeping, more out of habit than fear. Around midnight, I woke to the sound of something hitting the outer wall. Not loud, just deliberate. I lay still, counting seconds between the noises. 10, 12, then silence. I never heard footsteps leaving. By morning, the snow was smooth again, untouched, erasing whatever explanation my mind tried to build. I marked it down as falling ice from the trees. That explanation felt thin, but it was enough to get me through breakfast. The first thing that truly unsettled me happened that afternoon. I went outside to clear the back door, shovel crunching loudly in the quiet. That's when I noticed the trail of footprints. They came from the tree line and stopped less than 6 feet from the cabin wall. No return path, no signs of disturbance beyond them. The size suggested boots, adult-sized, but the spacing was wrong, uneven, almost hesitant. I stood there longer than I should have, staring until my fingers went numb inside my gloves. No one was scheduled to check on me for another week. No vehicles could reach this place in that weather. I eventually covered the prints while shoveling, but the image stayed with me. That night, as I locked the door, I realized something else. The cabin logbook, the one every worker signs on arrival, already had today's date written on it, and it wasn't in my handwriting. I tried to restore normalcy the next morning by sticking to routine. Data sheets, trail cameras, weather logs, things that had rules and numbers and explanations. The radio crackled with a forecast warning of continued whiteout conditions, advising anyone in remote areas to stay put. I made coffee and forced myself to eat, even though my stomach felt tight. When I checked the logbook again, the date was still there. No new name, no message, just the day written cleanly, confidently, as if someone had been careful not to draw attention. I flipped through older entries. Some pages were missing entirely, torn out near the binding. That bothered me more than the writing. Records aren't supposed to disappear out here. Everything is documented because isolation makes mistakes deadly. I radioed headquarters to ask if anyone else had been assigned nearby. The response came late and distorted, but clear enough. No one else is operating in your zone. I didn't mention the footprints or the logbook. Saying it out loud felt like inviting it to become real. By late afternoon, the light faded fast, swallowed by thick cloud cover. I was checking the trail camera footage when I noticed something off. One of the cameras, positioned half a mile east, had been adjusted. The angle was lower than I remembered, tilted toward the cabin rather than the trail. The timestamps showed movement during the night. Long stretches of nothing, then sudden proximity, like someone standing too close to the lens. No face appeared, no body, just fabric brushing past, close enough to blur the image. I rewound the footage 3 times, my pulse climbing with each replay. No vehicle tracks, no animal behavior matched that movement. When I stepped outside to check the camera myself, the wind hit hard enough to steal my breath. The tree line looked closer than before, crowded, watching. I didn't make it far. The silence out there felt active, like pressure in my ears, and I turned back with the uneasy certainty that going further was a mistake. That night, the cabin stopped feeling like shelter. Every sound carried intention. The groan of wood, the whisper of snow against glass. Around 11:40 p.m., the satellite phone rang. I answered instantly, relief flooding through me, only to hear breathing on the other end. Slow, controlled, not distorted by static. I said hello 3 times before the line went dead. The call log showed no incoming number, just a duration, 17 seconds. I locked the phone in a drawer like that might contain whatever had reached me through it. I slept in short, shallow bursts, waking each time the wind shifted. At some point before dawn, I heard movement on the porch. Wait, careful steps. I didn't look out the window. I stayed still until the sound faded. In the morning, I found the porch cleared of snow, shoveled, neatly. Whoever had done it had taken their time. I didn't sleep after that night. I lay on the narrow bed with my boots still on, eyes fixed on the ceiling, listening to the cabin breathe. Old wood expands and contracts in the cold. But this felt different, too deliberate, like something shifting its weight. Every hour I checked my watch, grounding myself in time because time was the only thing that still felt reliable. When morning finally came, it didn't bring relief. The snow outside was untouched except for one place near the back wall, where it had been packed down, as if someone had stood there for a long while. I photographed it from the window instead of going outside. My instincts told me crossing that distance, even a few steps, would be a mistake. I made notes in my field journal, writing faster than usual, my handwriting uneven. I kept telling myself this was stress, isolation, the storm. But deep down, I knew stress didn't create patterns. Someone was learning the space, learning me. By midday, small things began to change inside the cabin. Objects weren't missing, they were moved. My mug sat closer to the sink than I'd left it. A chair angled slightly toward the bedroom door. The kind of adjustments you only notice if you're already paying attention. I tested myself, placing items deliberately, memorizing their positions, then leaving the room. Each time I returned, one detail was off. Not enough to be obvious, enough to make my chest tighten. I checked the doors again, still locked, windows sealed, no crawl space, no attic. The idea that someone could be inside without a place to hide made my skin crawl. That evening, while logging data, I heard the floorboard behind me creak once. I didn't turn around. I sat frozen, listening to my own breathing, waiting for another sound that never came. When I finally looked, nothing was there, except a faint, wet footprint near the doorway. It was already fading. The radio came alive at 8:26 p.m. without warning. No static, no weather report, just silence, followed by a soft click, like someone pressing the transmit button. I spoke before I could stop myself. "Who is this?" My voice sounded small in the room. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then a man's voice replied, calm and close, as if he were standing just outside the door. "You weren't supposed to notice yet." The radio shut off immediately after. I sat there for a long time, unable to move, my mind racing through explanations that didn't hold. No official channels, no call sign, no distortion. I packed my essentials after that, hands shaking so badly I dropped my keys twice. When I opened the front door to leave, I saw the road was gone, completely erased by snow. And carved into the wood above the handle, fresh and shallow, were 3 words I had never written. The storm finally began to let up the next morning, but the landscape felt alien, as if the world had reshaped itself overnight. I tried driving to the nearest ranger station, but the roads were completely buried. I returned to the cabin, exhausted, desperate for communication. That's when I noticed a small notebook tucked under the kitchen table that hadn't been there before. Its pages were filled with scribbled observations about me, my habits, the times I woke, how I moved through the space. Some entries included details I hadn't written anywhere: which cupboard I opened first, the pattern of my footsteps on the porch, even my morning routine with the coffee. My pulse raced as I realized the person wasn't just watching. They had been living alongside me in silence, mapping my days. I called the local sheriff from the satellite phone, repeating the words as fast as I could. They said officers would come by as soon as possible, but with the storm, it could take hours, maybe a whole day. I sat in the cabin, reading and rereading the notes, trying to convince myself it was a prank or a misunderstanding. But the weight of those words pressed in like the winter sky outside, impossible to ignore. When the officers finally arrived, the snow had shifted enough for them to park a snowcat nearby. 2 men and a woman stepped inside cautiously, their boots crunching on the frost-stiffened floor. I showed them the footprints, the notebook, the scratched words over the door. They listened, nodded, and took photographs, their faces tight, serious. One of them remarked on how unusual it was for a cabin in this area to have been untouched, yet show such signs of recent presence. They left me to stay there while they inspected the surrounding area, and I watched from the window as they combed the tree line, their movements careful and methodical. Hours passed. No other footprints, no tracks leading to or away from the cabin. Not a trace of the intruder. Their radio chatter was minimal, tense. When they returned, they didn't have answers, only questions. I felt trapped in a cage of ice and wood, staring at a place that no longer felt familiar, not even safe. By nightfall, I was alone again, though the officers promised to return in the morning. The notebook had disappeared. The scratches over the door were gone. My satellite phone buzzed briefly. No number displayed, only a single message. "You should have left when you could." I tried calling headquarters again. No connection. The radio remained dead. I sat in the middle of the living room, surrounded by the familiar walls that no longer provided comfort. Somewhere deep in the snow beyond the window, whoever or whatever had been observing me was still out there, patient. I can't explain it, and I'm not sure anyone could. I left the cabin the next day, taking the first ranger convoy out, but the memory follows. Each winter, I replay the events in my mind, the footprints, the notes, the voice over the radio. There are no answers, no closure, just the certainty that some presence waits silently, meticulously, ready for the next person foolish enough to think they can be alone in the snow.